everyone. Welcome back on this entrepreneurship series. I'm very excited to have Mr. Anurag Kedia with us. Anurag is a co-founder of Pilgrim, which is a cosmetic and beauty brand. He founded this company in the year 2019. If I'm not mistaken, it's the first online brand in this space. And Anurag, feel free to correct me if my understanding is not right. And Pilgrim has raised approximately 50 crore of funding over the years from investors like Fireside Ventures and other investors. And the annual run rate of Pilgrim is 200 crore as of today. And most important fact, Anurag is IIM Ahmedabad's alum. So we take pride in his journey. Thank you, Anurag. Thanks for joining us and giving us time. Over to you, Anurag. Would you like to share something about Pilgrim?
Yeah, hello, Professor Singla. Very happy to be having this chat, and hopefully this can benefit whoever is listening to us. One small correction: we are not one of the first. There are a few hundred beauty brands which have been born online. In fact, we were a little late entrant because the early brands started in 2015-16, which were completely born online. I'd like to share, what Pilgrim stands for, and before we started, you were saying why the name Pilgrim. So as a brand, what we offer is the world's best beauty ingredients. So we go from one country to another, gathering their beauty secrets of that country and bring them to the Indian audience. And eventually, hopefully, we'll take them global. So Pilgrim, like you understand, is a traveler, is an explorer who goes from place to place, seeking truths. In the traditional sense, Pilgrim has stood for the in the religious context. Our context is beauty. So Pilgrim is a truth seeker in the context of beauty, and we are bringing different beauty secrets from around the world.
Oh, great to know that. Great to know that because now I can connect the brand Pilgrim with cosmetic. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you also have found a brand ambassador, right? Yummy Gotham is the brand
Yeah,
ambassador.
so we have two brand ambassadors right now. We have Kalki Cochlin. So for our French range, Kalki Cochlin is the brand ambassador, which is based on red wine from Bordeaux in France. We also have Yami Gautam with us, and she endorses the Amazonian rainforest range, which is based on a oil called patwa, which comes from Amazon rainforest. So it's a patwa and keratin combination.
Right, great to know that. But it's a tough space to be in, Anurag, D2C, direct to consumer space. Why did you think of launching a beauty brand, given that, and this I'm coming from more as IMA faculty, because we already have Nika, Sugar, again, our IMA alums, some of your colleagues are already in this space. Any particular reason of getting into this space?
So one is, Professor Singla, I come from the beauty and wellness background. Prior to this, I was running a chain of spas and salons and Ayurveda clinics. So this space is very close to my heart, and I feel very passionate about it. The other thing is, when we looked at consumers around us, we always found them, whenever they were traveling abroad, the women in the family and friend circles, they were carrying back hordes and hordes of beauty products back with them. And when we asked them, why are you buying these products from abroad, and when there's so many Indian brands available, they would tell us that, these ingredients which are available, let's say we were talking about red wine from Bordeaux in France or a volcanic lava ash from Korea, these ingredient, beauty formulation based on these ingredients are not easily available in India. And if it is available, it is very expensive. So
Yeah.
Korean brands, French brands are now available in India. But by the time they reach the Indian consumer, they are often out of the reach of the Indian consumers in terms of affordability. So we thought there is a clear space for us to offer a very differentiated brand and products. And we have seen very, very good consumer response since the time of the launch.
That's good to know. But this is a category where understanding consumer and who is the right consumer, right? Like you yourself said, there are thousands of online beauty brands, and there are some which are of Indian origin, right? And can I say it's a crowded market? Is it safe to say that?
Yes, it is.
It is. So in this crowded market, how to figure out who are my customers? Who will prefer my product over other customers?
So, before even talking about who are my customers, can we talk about, how do we research about identifying a white space.
You believe in market research?
Oh, I am a complete thorough believer of market research, and all the market research courses which we learned on campus have come very handy.
We will be very happy to know that, and my marketing colleagues will be very happy to know that. Why I ask this question, Anurag, because many of the entrepreneurs, when I go as a panelist, in this in the entrepreneurship courses or other universities invite us. So many entrepreneurs will say, "अरे market research सब बेकार है, आप ऐसी टाइम वेस्ट करते हो, अल्टीमेटली तो कंज्यूमर को कुछ और चाहिए होता है, जब तक आप मार्केट में जाओगे तभी पता चलेगा." So I would like to know that, how are you thinking about it differently?
So I agree with what the entrepreneurs are saying, that market teaches you a lot. But my equal belief is market research also teaches you a lot. And if I can split market research into two parts, qualitative and quantitative. For younger brands, when you're starting out, my belief is that qualitative research is a lot more important. So we need to really speak to consumers one-on-one. So let's say if we are in the business of beauty, we need to be, or I need to be speaking to women all the time to understand what are they buying, what are they saying about their beauty regimes, what products are they using, how do they think about skin and hair, how much money are they willing to spend, where are they buying from. So all of these questions need to be answered, and eventually some hypothesis will emerge that these could be potential white spaces, because if there is an offering which is already there in a particular space, then yet another brand offering the same thing does not cut it. So we need to identify what are the needs of the consumers which are unmet. In our case, the need which we identified was there was a set of consumers who was looking at international beauty ingredients. And this, like I said, started with observation around us. However, that was the starting point. Then we started speaking to consumers saying, do you feel a need like this? And consumers, gave a very good response to that. Then we got into a little bit of quantitative research. I think the one change which has happened over a period of time is quantitative research can now happen online. Earlier, you had to go to very large market research agencies and depend on them to kind of come back with answers. And it was very expensive. Today, in very short period of time, for very little money, and when I say very little money, I'm talking 2,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees, you can do a reasonably large quantitative study on social media.
Like how? By floating a survey?
Yeah. So what you can do is, and I'll give you one of the tricks which we use. We have a social media handle which is not Pilgrim.
Oh, okay.
Right? It could be something like Beauty Secret Lovers, or some such handle like that. There you can run a contest saying, what is it, for example, our first poll which we had run 3 years back was to decide which country of origin range we should be launching, whether it should be Korean beauty, Japanese beauty, Dead Sea salt based ingredients, and we said these are the options. If a brand is looking to offer these products, which are you most likely to buy? And some selected winners will be given a prize.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you can get any number of responses for a very small period of time. And depending upon which range you end up launching, you actually send out the prizes. So you're not making use of the consumers in a wrong way. Whatever promise you have made in terms of giving out the prizes, you give out the prizes, and to the rest of the consumer base, you send out discount coupons. So everybody who's taken the effort to give you the response gets rewarded in some manner.
How do you know, Anurag, that they are the right consumers? I can, just fill the survey thinking, oh, I might get some gift out of it, right? How do you understand? How do you judge that, oh, these are the right audience and whatever they are giving is the right information? Is there a way to establish that?
So, I spoke about qualitative research earlier. So you form a hypothesis from there, saying that my audience or my TG is this age group, this gender, this psychographic profile. This could be in the interest groups. She could be or he could be staying in this kind of a place, could be following these kind of interests. So this is a hypothesis. And basis this, you can do targeting on what is now called Meta, in the earlier days, Facebook and Instagram. Meta allows you to do targeting for all of these. You can pinpoint. I can do a survey for women who are 25 to 27 years old staying in Andheri East. We can get that sharp. Who purchase online and follow an international brand XYZ.
Can
And
you
this we
elaborate on this, Anurag? Because I am unaware of this, that you as a user of Insta or Facebook, how does matter if I want to put a survey out there and I want response from a selected audience, which you have already profiled, right? That these are the kind of demographics I want of the respondents. How does Meta allow you to, kind of select? Does it have certain conditions when you float the survey?
Yeah. So it does not go as a survey, it goes as an ad. And there is an ad panel which is not normally visible to the regular users. So until unless you are an advertiser on Meta, you will not have access to this panel.
Okay.
And it's very easy to become an advertiser. You don't need to go anywhere. You just have to go and become an advertiser. There is a certain process which you can find online.
Okay. Okay.
So in 10 minutes, you can open a you can become a business manager and you can become an advertiser on Meta. And you can start advertising from there. And this poll is run as an ad.
Oh, this is great. This is, I think, great tip for the entrepreneurs out there who don't know how to collect data. Because one of the clip I get from my entrepreneurs, by my, I mean to say, I do a young entrepreneurs program at IMA, and the entrepreneurs that attend those programs is, ma'am, where are the resources? We do not have resources to collect data. But I think this is a very good tip for them, that first do the qualitative research, interview your potential customers, then profile them, and then go for the quantitative data collection through Meta advertisements and select that this is a profile of people you want this ad to be shown, and they should respond to that. I think this is a great tip. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And there are more methods, Professor Singla, we can talk about.
I can imagine that, I can talk to you for a very long time because the kind of tips you are giving, Anurag, for my entrepreneurs. Anurag, I also want to understand that when you go through this route, you must be making certain assumptions, or data tells you that, okay, this is what the audience requires, or this is what the customer wants, and then you plan something around it. Has any of those assumptions bombed for you?
Oh, many. Not any, but many. So, there are so many things which we have learned after, in fact, while we do as much effort before the launch to kind of figure out what will work, what will not. Finally, when the product hits the market, a new set of feedback comes in. Because now consumers actually have to pay. Often, for example, you design a certain set of packaging, which is looking great on the screen. But when it finally comes on your hand, you realize that it is not as it was looking on the screen. Or when you are doing a photo shoot, certain parts of the packaging are shining and hence they are not visible at all. And there was an important piece of information on that part of the pack.
Okay.
Their pricing related information. For example, we have priced a certain product at 500 rupees. Now the market could come back and tell us, and while we have done research before, I'm not saying that we have not researched. When you actually launch, you realize that you might have overpriced or underpriced. In our industry, sensorials like fragrances, textures are very important. Now, these are very subjective parameters. So many a times we realize that the fragrance needs to be tweaked, lowered, the dosage needs to be lowered or increased, or the texture needs to be changed. So post-launch research has to continue. So research is an ongoing process. Before you have conceptualized the product and the brand, it starts from there. During the conceptualization, you co-create the product with the consumers. We work very, very closely with our community, which we call as Pilgrim Tribe. And post-launch, then you continue to take feedback through reviews on marketplaces, through your own surveys, and by reaching out to consumers one-on-one to get their feedback.
That's interesting to know. How do you create that tribe? Somehow this tribe concept has become very popular practically for every brand, right? And why would, if I'm using Pilgrim, why would I make that extra effort in giving feedback and not switching to another brand? How do you create that tribe?
So it takes time, Professor Singla. It's not that, when we started off, we had a large following or a large community. We had only the employees and friends and family who were interested. But over a period of time, even if you're adding a few consumers every month, some of them who really like your products, like what you're offering, and you have to do things to engage with them. Social media is one of the mechanisms. But if you're an online first brand, there's so much you can do. You have the complete consumer data. When you're sending out the products, what is popularly called as unboxing experience. When you receive that brown box, what is written on top of that box? When you open that box, what are the goodies which you have sent out apart from the product? If you have sent out goodies, is there a personalized message which is going out to the consumers? It may not be a personalized message, but is there a message at all? So there are so many touch points, and once the consumer has received the product, you have the phone number. You can, engage with them on SMS, email, WhatsApp, do targeting on social media. There are so many methods of reaching out to the consumer and engaging with them, so that the love for the brand grows slowly. It's not, love at first sight typically, but you have to really be in the long-term game to engage with the consumers, and hopefully many of them start loving you back.
That's good to know, Anurag. So, Anurag, this part of market research, I would like to end here. Is there any learning, one key learning that you would like to share with our entrepreneurs out there, which you had during your journey, and you feel that, oh, I learned it hard way. I want my fellow colleagues to understand it, and be very mindful of it.
I think we often talk about consumer loyalty. My belief is brand loyalty. So the brands have to be loyal to the consumers. Consumers don't have to be loyal to the brands. If
Wow.
brands are loyal to consumers, chances are consumers will reciprocate at some point of time. Often brands can take shortcuts, do things which are not right for the consumers, and which is when the consumers lose trust on the brands.
I think this is a great message that brand needs to be loyal to the consumer rather than expecting consumer to be loyal to the brand. When brands are loyal, consumer will reciprocate. On that, such a good message, Anurag, we would like to end this interview. Thank you so much. We will certainly have a part 2 with you, given you are sharing so many practical tips. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Singla.